of federal government of Somalia. President Museveni, in his message delivered by the Presidential Special Envoy, Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi, reiterated continued friendship from the Ugandan government with the people of Somalia.
Ask me to convey to you his best wishes for your success as you prepare to take up the responsibilities and the challenges of the high office you hold now.
President Museveni promised good working relations with President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud to develop closer relations between the two countries and to unite for peace and brotherhood of both countries.
As you embark on your new responsibilities, President Museveni wishes to assure you and the people of Somalia of the continued friendship and sympathetic interest of the Ugandan government and the people.
In his inauguration speech, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud re-echoed his slogan, Somalia at peace with itself and the world. He promised true, wide reconciliation among Somalis, cooperation with the international community on security, democratic system that allows a universal right to vote, fair and independent judiciary, and appealed for support in response to drought to avoid famine, among others.
Somalia, meel kasto ay joogaan isla markaana saldhig u ah himilooyinka iyo tiigsiyada shacabkeena sharafta leh ay tiigsanayaan ama ku hadlinayaan in ay ahaadaan dal dimuqraadiyadu ay ka hirgashay.
Uganda's Minister for Defense and Veteran Affairs, Vincent Sempija, stated that Uganda's defense sector is very proud that the people of Somalia and the federal government of Somalia have been able to have a peaceful transition.
The peaceful transfer of power from one leader, Mr. Farmajo, to the new president, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, is really a testimony that we have not wasted our time in this place.
Uganda's Deputy Ambassador to Somalia, Ambassador Major General retired Nathan Mugisha, stated that the inauguration of Hassan Sheikh Mohamud is a sign of hope and a vote of confidence.
A new team assigned with new mandate. So that is a very good step in, as far as democracy is concerned.
PDF, which is part of ATMIS, it is a stabilization force. We play support role. We came here in 2007 when things were really very bad. Somalia was stateless, as you know.
Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi, the Presidential Special Envoy, led Uganda's delegation to the inauguration ceremony of President Sheikh Hassan Mohamud. President Sheikh Hassan Mohamud was elected into office on May 2022. Uganda was the first country to deploy troops to Somalia in March 2007 and remains the leading troop contributing country to AMISOM, now transformed into African Transition Mission Somalia.
Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni this week reiterated the country's need to build a self-sustaining national economy based on the point 5 of NRM's 10-point program, which was later summarized into the 4 NRM principles. He emphasized this in his opening remarks at the State of the Nation address in Kololo, Kampala. It is through creating backward and forward linkages in our economy that Uganda's budget in the next few days will be standing at $45.7 billion by the exchange rate method and at $131.6 billion by the PPP method.
This means that the GDP per capita is now $1,046. You remember, the entrance point for the lower middle income status is US dollars 1,036. We have now passed that figure.
The Ugandan economy continues to manifest resilience despite the pandemic shocks in the last 2 years. However, it is yet to be classified as a middle-income country.
To be declared a middle-income country, you need to sustain this for 2 to 3 consecutive years. I am confident we shall overperform.
On the other hand, the president has applauded all stakeholders of the Ugandan economy for sustaining surplus supply of some commodities that are being sought after by other developed countries.
That's why Uganda is unbeatable in terms of chicken, of eggs. Nobody can compete with us in the world because we have both. We have cheap maize, so we can make cheap animal feed and therefore support chicken and pigs and fish farming. That's why that's why normally our brothers in Kenya get problems, because we are able to give them chicken, very good eggs, very good milk, but at a low cost, because we have got cheaper animal feeds.
Since agriculture is the backbone of Uganda's economy, farmers and leaders in various parts of the country have been mandated to leverage the parish development model to create quality, effective and sustainable agricultural models with profitable agribusiness as a goal in mind. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News in Kololo. Now, furthermore, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in the same address, called upon leaders of Karamoja region to condemn the acts of cattle rustling in their region. Now, the occasion of the State of the Nation address, that was where the president also warned groups destabilizing Karamoja and advised that peaceful dialogue will solve most of this conflict.
A few minutes after 2 o'clock.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has called for dialogue among disgruntled parties to solve political and security conflicts. He says this should be made priority, combined with military strategies to arrive at a political consensus.
Even for the terrorist groups, if they accept dialogue, it should be tried.
The president denounced use of force to settle disputes.
Using force is like using surgery. Surgery is used as a method of last resort when less violent methods to the body can no longer work. Even then, it should be used in a very restricted way, affecting only the sick part, not the rest of the body.
Security agencies, on the other hand, have managed to dismantle the Allied Democratic Forces who are operating in the thickets of DR Congo. The group has scampered for safety, though still conducting some atrocities.
There is a solution to such a problem that we used to deal with those smaller groups attacking the soft targets of unguarded wananchi. We are discussing all this with the government of Congo.
Government continues to increase manpower of the armed forces and training more security personnel. Part of the personnel are supporting operations against cattle rustlers in Karamoja.
The cattle rustlers will soon lose appetite for the gun. However, the cattle rustlers and other terrorists should be condemned, and they should also condemn themselves because of Okwetera and Obo.
President Museveni is concerned that government is spending funds to facilitate soldiers in the fight against cattle rustlers instead of working on developmental projects in the region.
That means a bigger wage bill, feeding, health, education for the children of the soldiers, accommodation, etc. This is the money we should be spending in Karamoja.
Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
In other news, UBC West MP Kahona staff members in Barara City this week concluded a 2-day training on the parish development model. The program is government's initiated program that aims at empowering Ugandans through job creation, increased household income, among others. In his closing remarks, as guest of honor, the UBC Managing Director Winston Agaba advised the participants to put more practice in what they have learned through effective communication about the model in their programs or for masses to further embrace it. The Station manager of UBC West, Agre Bariusia, has also commended UBC for such a great training opportunity, and this is what transpired.
5 men must love, 5 men must love Uganda, 5 men, 4 men, 3 men, 2 men, 1 man must.
Since the whole gist of having this training is to make sure that the reporting on the parish development model is well understood, first of all, by the reporters, before they can not only just inform, educate, but also guide the listeners and the viewers out there about the objectives and aims and how this parish development model is going to be rolled out. I want to give thanks to the Ministry of Local Government who gave us facilitators. We've had a 2-day training, very informative, and our staff are really fired up and excited about this model. And we believe it's going to be one of those rare ones that are going to make sure that the vicious circle of poverty is eradicated and done away with. Our appeal to all staff of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is to positively communicate about government programs. We are not shy to communicate government programs because the mandate that the National Resistance Movement has from the people, from the elections, mandates them to fulfill the pledges, and that is exactly what is being implemented. So all workers, everyone out there, gear yourselves to understanding and getting informed and educated about the government programs and the success stories.
We, the staff of UBC West and Kahona, we were blessed to have had such a very meaningful training in Mbarara, where the staff of UBC West have been equipped with the knowledge and skills to transmit or to share knowledge regarding the parish development model, which has been a paradox to many of our audiences. Right now, we have had and we've trained on how the whole process goes. We've now come to know that it is important for every part of the country, for every citizen, and every person in your capacity, you can benefit from the parish development model.
No, this program is supposed to help them with different enterprises. They're supposed to be selected different enterprises. They're supposed to work in groups and then do bit of either if it's a commercial production, they now do commercial production as a groups, farming groups, or if they're business people, they still be helped in their way, but looking at making sure they get bigger income. They make income, they make assets which make them have incomes and also make some savings to survive.
Now, the Ministry of Health is concerned about the increasing numbers of COVID-19 cases compared to the normal trends. In a tweet by the Health Minister, Jane Ruth Acheng, this week said that there are surging cases of COVID-19 similar to the Delta variant in the second wave. Now, UBC visited some congested places where people seem to be ignorant about this trend.
Until January 2022, when the economy was fully reopened, some sectors which had been under lockdown to stop the spread of COVID-19, 5 months later, COVID-19 cases have started increasing. Minister of Health has confirmed 35 new COVID-19 cases. UBC visited tax parks in Kampala City where congestion seems inevitable, with less initiative in observing standard operating procedures.
Nteekateeka gye tulina wano weeri yaffe yakwongera mu bantu baffe maanyi kubanga ffera tubaddewo nga tukyagenda mu maaso nga tukimanyi nti covid waali naye lwakuba kati ennamba yeeyongedde kati ffe tulina enteekateeka wano ey'okuyita abantu baffe ku lunaku lwokusatu tuddemu okunaaza abantu mu ngalo tuddemu abantu bambale masiki tuteeka abantu abakebera kubanga tulina obukulembeze kati obwakugattira wamu.
A taxi driver, Sebagala Henry, says ever since the ministry announced that everyone who was fully vaccinated has less chances of contracting COVID-19, it's now challenging to enforce standard operating procedures.
Olw'okuba nti abantu bagemeddwa twasanga okusoomozebwa abantu nga bagamba nze neegema tax force yali etaddewo ennyingi yazikendeeza ng'agambye nti covid akendedde naffe ekintu ekyo tulowooza nti kigizeeki covid akakkanya.
Ku ssaawa zino kano ke kakulaga nti neeteeseteese nkayina n'abasaabaze bengenda okuteeka mu mmotoka nabo buli omu mukuutira nti yambala masiki yo.
Most arcades in downtown Kampala have taken no initiative to enforce standard operating procedures in the wake of COVID-19. At Nakasero Market, the market administration is taking initiative in testing all market vendors who operate within the market.
Abantu abasinga basuubuza katale ke Nakasero nga bwe tukugambye nti nno kitandikira kufa abali wakati mu kibuga. Ennamba esinga yakatale ke Nakasero bonna beegemesa. Essaawa zino omulamwa gwe tusinga okubeera nagwo tetulina mulamwa gwa kwegemesa. Tuli mu kukebera abasuubuzi baffe okulaba bayimiridde batya mu mbeera zino zabadde batambuliramu nga twawulirako ko nga minisita omu agamba abantu bajje obukookolo ku nnyindo. Kati abantu bwe bajja obukookolo ku nnyindo ate obulwadde bwe tuwulira ate nga bukomyewo kwe kulaba nti nno tuzzeemu tukebere tuyimirire tutya.
We are here to do market surveillance, COVID-19 testing, and we've recently seen that we have been getting some cases. Actually, even here we have gotten some. So we are here trying to do some testing, and then such that we pick out those who are positive and see how to help them. Nekebeza emirundi gyonna esatu n'engikola ki n'engimalayo era mpulidde ekyo omulanga gavumenti gwekubidde abantu nti obulwadde bwazzeemu n'enjagala nziremu nate era bankebere ndabe eddala kituufu oba si kituufu.
Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
The Director General Ministry of Health this week announced the country has registered 35 new cases of COVID-19 as of the 4th of June 2022. In the same statement, the ministry also assured the country that there has been no case of monkeypox registered in the country, but also implored the country to report any case should there be any to the health authorities. These are the details.
The Ministry of Health has observed an increase in the numbers of COVID-19 cases in the country in the last 3 days since June 3rd, 2022. The increase is attributed to the laxity by the population on the COVID-19 standard operating procedures and the low intake of COVID-19 vaccination.
This is like the previous time in 2021 June when we had our second wave of Delta. The cases had remained stable since Jan and started to climb around June 2021. And that is the same situation we are having at the moment. Cases have been stable since January 2022 this year, and we are now starting to see a gradual climbing of the curve, although the numbers are still minimal and the positivity is still minimal.
The Ministry of Health officials assure the public that they have the capacity to handle the deadly virus.
At the moment, as a country, we are better prepared and we have built our capacity. We shall handle COVID as per the current circumstances, and we are prepared to handle any subsequent occurrence. We've had 3 waves, of which we have all handled successfully.
In the meantime, the Ministry of Health also issued a statement on the monkeypox outbreak, noting that the country has not recorded any case of the virus. There is an outbreak in at least 8 African endemic countries and 23 non-endemic countries worldwide. Monkeypox is a viral disease transmitted from animals to human that is caused by monkeypox virus, and research shows that 3 to 6% of the people succumb to the disease. Signs and symptoms include fever, rash, intense headache, swelling of the lymph nodes, among others, and the most vulnerable groups are children and individuals with low immunity. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Now, caution is key in the campaign against COVID-19. Observing special standard operating procedures, sanitizing and masks remain some of the preventive measures against COVID-19. It is for this reason that stakeholders are asking for embracing Ministry of Health guidelines to ensure safety against this lethal virus.
Please put on your mask, please sanitize, please social distance, because corona has come back and it is serious and it is still real. Don't mess with this thing, because as long as you mess with it, your life is gone. And we send you Ugandans, please, please, please do what it takes to social distance, to put on a mask and to sanitize your hands. We as people of Nile water, we caution Ugandans because we need you to be live and clear in these times of corona, because it is still there and it will always be there. As long as we social distance, we shall defeat this enemy.
COVID-19 is back. We need to protect ourselves and we need to sanitize ourselves. We need to wear a mask. You need to be very careful to everything you do.
The Omukama of Bunyoro, Chitara Solomon Gafabusa Iguru I this week celebrated 28 years since his enthronement. Unlike the previous years, the king has not been attending the celebration because of his health condition. Now, the Omugo of Bunyoro Chitara Kingdom, Margaret Karunga Adieri, has asked the people of Bunyoro to pray for the king so that he can attend next year's celebrations.
Bunyoro Chitara Kingdom Prime Minister has asked the government to look into the escalating fuel prices in the country and look for a way forward. This was during the Omukama of Bunyoro Chitara King Solomon Gafabusa Iguru 28 years celebrations.
Abanyo wakabumba ngera kumusabira ruhanga amukize kurundi omwaka gw'okwiza kuyongezena nyongera emyenda mirotara kola n'amaani urugombo naku kandi okusomesa abaana baitu basobole okutunga emirimu mirungi nkatunu Bunyoro tuyire ebintu bingi emafuta bitu byona biri hano abaana baitu basobole kutunga emirimu mirungi hano mu Bukama bwa Bunyoro.
Members of Parliament from Bunyoro asked government to make sure the region gets a public university to promote peace. The State Minister for Public Service, Mary Grace Mugasa, asked the Bunyoro to get land titles to curb the ever-increasing land grabbing in the region. State Minister for Internal Affairs, General David Muhoozi, represented President Yoweri Museveni.
It is a great pleasure to see the people of the Bunyoro Kingdom expressing their rich and unique culture. Today's celebration is a clear testimony to the fact that the NRM government took a step in the right direction to restore cultural institutions for those communities that so wish.
Dr. Solomon Gafabusa Iguru I ascended to the throne on 11th of June 1994 at Karuzika Royal Palace in the current Hoima city, after kingdoms were restored by President Yoweri Museveni. Sudat Kai, George Niyonzima, UBC News.
Court of Appeal this week nullified NRM's Eddie Kwezera's victory up for Bukimbiri County seat, saying that the elections leading to Eddie Kwezera's victory were marred with irregularities. Also nullified was Orone Derrick's victory as MP of Gogonyo constituency.
Mawanda had dismissed FDC's Issa Bantalib Taligoa election petition he filed challenging NRM's Orone Derrick's victory for Gogonyo constituency on grounds that Issa Bantalib failed to prove to court that Gogonyo constituency elections were marred with election irregularities.
Such as parliamentary election petitions.
FDC's Issa Bantalib Taligoa, who was not contented with the decision, filed an appeal in court, asking court to quash the High Court's decision. A panel of 3 justices, led by Frederick Egonda Ntende, Eva Luswata, and Christopher Madrama, ruled in this matter.
What the court has ordered is the Electoral Commission has been directed to conduct a fresh election for Gogonyo because it was characterized by a lot of malpractices, especially falsification of results or changing of what? Of results. So the court has agreed with us.
In a judgment read by Court of Appeal Registrar Lillian Buchana, the judges agreed with Issa Bantalipu's grounds, thus nullifying NRM's Oreni Derrick's victory.
First of all, I would like to thank and express my gratitude to the living Lord who has granted us this victory after an election was stolen from the people of Gogonyo.
Meanwhile, the same court has also ordered for a by-election of the Bukimbiri County seat. This follows when court nullified NRM's Eddie Kwizera Gahungu's victory as a member of parliament for Bukimbi County. FDC's James Orebei filed this petition, citing that the Bukimbiri County election were not counted in line with electoral laws and was full of election irregularities. Justices, however, condemned the Electoral Commission for failing to detect anomaly on the ballot papers. In Sarot High Court, Justice Philip Odachi dismissed James Orebei's petition on grounds that it had no merit. Nathan Rebecca, Namamode Deborah, UBC.
Former Forum for Democratic Change President Dr. Kisabe CJ was this week released on bail after paying 3 million shillings in cash bail directed by the High Court. After his release, Dr. Besigye was whisked away from the Central Police Station to an unknown location by security operatives where he had gone to pick up his car. Dr. Besigye's release follows a recent application challenging the magistrate Siena Omgisha's orders to pay 30 million to be released on bail.
The former Forum for Democratic Change President Dr. Kisabe CJ, who is facing charges of inciting violence, appeared at High Court Criminal Division in Kampala to hear the ruling in the application he filed, challenging Magistrate Siena Omgisha's orders to pay a cash bail of 30 million shillings to be released. Judge Michael Erubu's ruling was read by the Deputy Registrar of High Court Criminal Division, Feston Senga. Court adjusted Dr. Kisabe CJ's bail from 30 million to 3 million shillings.
The trial magistrate also correctly stated that bail terms imposed should be a safeguard that once released on bail, the accused will return for trial. This is as it should be. However, taking all the circumstances of the case into consideration, as it is my considered opinion that the land trial magistrate exercised her discretion with the material irregularity when she set the bail amount at 30 million shillings. This condition was manifestly harsh and excessive. In the result, the amount set for bail in this matter should be adjusted. Bail terms or conditions must not be so high as to be out of reach or appear punitive. They should not be so low as to be outrageous or ridiculous. They must fit the circumstances of the individual case.
Dr. Kisabe CJ's lawyer, Arias Lokwago, was pleased with the ruling.
It is some significant reduction we would wish to recognize, but we hoped that it would have been much lower given the fact that court appropriately analyzed the facts of the matter and the law. So we are going to sit down and see the next course of action, but obviously we have to pay first and foremost. He gets out, then we sit and take a decision on the way forward.
After paying 3 million shillings, Dr. Kisabe CJ was released.
The purpose of bail is to avail ourselves to trial. I have been accused countless times, but at no single time have I ever had to defend myself in court. All cases have been dismissed without my need to defend myself.
Attempts by the four-time former presidential candidate to retrieve his car from Central Police Station were foiled after security officers whisked him upon his arrival at CPS. Dr. Kisabe CJ was arrested on the 24th of May 2022 at Arua Park in Kampala district while mobilizing Ugandans to protest against the hiked prices of commodities in the country. Nathan Rebecca, UBC News.
The family of the former President Yusuf Chironde Lule wants national heroes to be celebrated while alive, a gesture they appreciate the current government for doing. Dr. Ntwatwa Lule, a dental surgeon, appreciates government for recognizing his late father with a full road named after him in Kampala, capital city. Both Ntwatwa and his sister Nora Lule were part of the celebrations to mark National Heroes Day this Thursday.
This is Yusuf Lule Road, one of the stretches that make up the road infrastructure in Kampala city. It was named after former president of Uganda, Yusuf Chironde Lule. The former head of state is graciously remembered in Uganda, something his family appreciates.
It's always nice to be remembered, and I'm sure my late father is happy where he is, being remembered.
However, they want this kind of recognition done, at least when the beneficiaries are still alive.
The government of Uganda today has shown that by actually giving out medals to quite a number of people. So definitely they have been appreciated, and I'm sure they are enjoying it.
Dr. Ntwatwa Lule, who was in company of his sister, downplayed any political ambitions, preferring to cling onto his profession.
I think there are enough people who are in politics. The country isn't run by politics alone. There are other things that run the country as well.
Obviously, being a daughter of a former president, however short it was, I'm very aware, and I've had close view of what it involves. Very big. It's not something that I've even considered getting that big, but I would definitely like to participate in our country.
The duo was part of celebrations to mark National Heroes Day. They joined others in laying wreaths on the fallen heroes.
It's great for us as a family to be able to celebrate our father, and for us to get recognition on his behalf. That's why, we took out the time to come and spend time here. And it's also very nice to see that a lot of other people come and face recognition as well as heroes.
Now back in the country for good, joins her brother Dr. Ntwatwa, ending decades of living apart from each other. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Ministry of Water and Environment through Water and Sanitation, with support from the World Bank this week, disclosed that they will boost piped water supply in rural areas. The piped water supply project will curb challenges of trekking long distances in search for water.
The manager, Southwestern Umbrella Water and Sanitation, Mugumya Robert, has said integrated water management project will target 8,600 people in the 19 villages of Ibanda district. This was at the launch of water project in Kaihangara sub-county in Ibanda district. The chairperson Ibanda district, Habi Habat Mayanja, said residents often walk long distances to draw the available data water from the nearby river and ponds, while sharing water with animals that threatens their health.
Where we fetch water is where animals take their waters from, and eventually we have been having so many problems related to drinking bad water.
Joel Kaharagwende applauded the Southwestern Umbrella for solving the long-distance challenge, which the locals trekked in search for water.
Requesting the water users to use this water sparingly, and whenever it gets a problem, like leakages, let them report to Umbrella officers.
The umbrella was given the mandate as regional water authorities by the Minister of Water and Environment in accordance with the Water Act Section 46 in 2017-2018.
Now, Tilenga Industrial Park, Total Energies is constructing facilities to accommodate 4,000 workers, access roads, 6 well pads, of which 426 will be underground. Now, the disclosed information was made during a media tour of the Total Energy facilities.
The cyclones, which started in May last year, will end in August this year for actual establishment of the central processing facility, which is also expected to end in the time ahead of oil production timeline in 2026, and the main contractor is the Motor Egyl Uganda Limited. The public relations officer Total Energies, Christopher Ochowun, told reporters during their field visit to the industrial park that currently there is no business which is going on due to heavy rains which have paralyzed works. However, he notes that the rains would not impact the project timeline as being claimed, adding that during the planning phase all that was put in consideration and hopes to resume work when rains stop.
What I can tell you, before we started this program, we planned for all this. We knew there is going to be season for sunshine and season for rain. And now we have had a long dry spell. Now it has started raining. And this is within our work plan. We knew that there is going to be a time when we shall have a lot of rain. So we have to get a way of compensating.
Solomon Kalemezi, the project supervisor, claims that some other challenges the project is facing is land acquisition, but they are handling. Kalemezi has also revealed that the project is being constructed in phases and they are sure all works will be completed ahead of oil production timeline. George Nyonzima and Sharon Mober for UBC News.
Mulago National Referral Hospital this week held a neurosurgical camp focusing on patients with brain and spine tumors, and about 70 patients were worked on. Now, neurosurgeons affirm that the boda accident victims tops the list of those who seek urgent neurosurgery at Mulago Hospital. These are the details.
Neurosurgery is a medical discipline and surgical specialty that focuses on the prevention, diagnosis and treatment of injuries and conditions affecting the nervous system. This includes the brain, the spinal cord, peripheral nerves, cerebrovascular system. Mulago Hospital is equipped with a state-of-art intraoperative MRI surgical suite.
To run efficiently without any deficiencies, any patient going out to buy this and the other would need like 100 billion in terms of funding to give us enough medicines and sundries. But well, there's improvement from about 8.6 billion. We hope this financial year will get maybe something like double that.
The executive director of Mulago Hospital says all the surgeries done at the hospital are free of charge, though there might be a shortage of specialized human resource to handle such cases.
More neurosurgeons, more anesthesiologists, more theater nurses, more ICU nurses and intensivists to take care of these patients. So there's need to have more capacity like in other hospitals that are similar to what we have in Mulago National Referral Hospital, so that these patients are worked on as soon as possible.
The director says that the frequencies of the neurosurgery camps are to clear backloads of the cases that are lined up and purely carried out by Ugandan neurologists.
This challenge is trauma. We get several border accidents, especially per day. This doesn't allow us to deal with tumors and these other cases. So what we do, we usually do approach the administration, which has been very kind. Like now it has given us 2 weeks, dedicated 2 weeks with 4 theaters to deal with all these brain tumors we book. So when you hear patients coming to Mulago and then they are booked, that's the reason. Because operating tumors need a lot of preparations, need a lot of things to be done.
The lead surgeon, Dr. Muhumuza, notes that there are diagnostic services across the country to manage such cases.
We do have diagnostic services even in up-country places. Like in the east, we have some CT scan in around Chua and Mbale. In the west, we have in Mbarara, I think Masaka and Kabale. And I think also in the north. So when these CT scans are more the doctors are able to diagnose the patients much earlier.
Some of the signs and symptoms of brain tumor include:
the brain is in a rigid bony cage. When you have extra volume and extra mass, the bones don't open up, so they compress other areas, causing what we call increased ICP, intracranial pressure, manifesting with severe headaches, vomiting, visual disturbances. Now, if a tumor says on the right, it will usually cause a weakness on the opposite side, the left, or vice versa. Now, the other symptoms could be confusions and then slowly depressed levels of consciousness. I wouldn't want you to reach there. But also other common things are where the tumor is. Say, if it is around what we call the language centers, speech will be disturbed. Sight will go, etc., etc. Front side deals with memory, personality, behavior. You'll find the patient behaving funny, forgetful, and so on and so forth. So it also depends on where the tumor is.
Zahara Abigawa, UBC News.
Now, after regional integration, it is more evident now that schools, especially starting at lower levels, need to embrace Swahili as a national language, cross-national language. This was disclosed by the Deputy Director, Research at the National Curriculum Development Center, Christopher Moganga Kagoro, while closing a Swahili teachers workshop at Shimoni Primary Teachers School.
Chetwafunye kyekisinga kubasomesa 4 tufunye abasomesa 370 eyo enamba etuwa essuubi nti tulina gye tulaga nti abasomesa ab'Oluswayiri gye bali ne bwe tugamba kati tugende full force mu primary abasomesa abasobera okusomesa abalala tubayina tubawadde ekisoboka tubasomeseza ekimala tumanyi nti kati tubateeseteese bali ready okugenda basobole okukola omulimu gwe twabatendese kalikiramu bagitegedde y'Oluswayiri Oluswayiri balumanyi tuli ready okugenda tukole ekisoboka okukola nti Oluswayiri tulitandika mu masomero ga primary. Kyenjagala okukubiriza Uganda n'abantu baayo especially olulimi okubanga lusobola okugenda mu maaso tulutandikira mu buyigirize mu education. Abasomesa aba managers bonna tubasaba mutuwe support.
Don't expect to be thorough at the beginning because there are so many other socio-political issues to solve. Because as we are trying to implement also the local languages policy, now we have also to bring in the East African integration. So the two must be competing, and we see those who are more ready, as they have said, that opportunities come to find those people who are ready. If the local languages are not so ready, that they are still fighting to mean or to understand that teaching local languages is inferior, now let Swahili take it over because for them they are having a broader region to cover. So you are having a wider and a very bright future, because when you look at what Swahili means, that surviving in this world, which we call now the modern world, needs much more than the intellect of academics. It needs now more of the skills and the competences to perform the given task, which in our new lower secondary curriculum we termed it as a VUCA world. The world is changing very fast. It requires someone who is who changes very fast the way the world is changing. Because by the time you are trying to learn this, something comes on top. By the time you are trying to catch up with this one, now we are still struggling to make a use of these machines to be a common tool to everybody.
Let's take a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll be back with the weekly roundup business news.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello, this is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Congratulations. Oh, one good day.
Good day? But I haven't entered any competition.
Owadechi, since you use your phone every day, we have randomly selected you as one of our loyal customers, and you have won a brand new pickup.
Hey, so how do I get this pickup?
The pickup is in Namave. All we have to do is quickly bring it to you. You know, we are delivering many of them. So, just send us 100k for fuel via mobile money and we'll bring it to you.
But Chief, I'm in no hurry to receive it. Namambe is just here. Keep it at your warehouse, give me directions, and I will get time to pick it up.
Vow nawe. If you don't have money, just say.
Tonfera, never send money to strangers. Winners of competitions are contacted through official channels and are never asked to pay for anything. Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tonfera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
Fellow Ugandans, on Tuesday 14th June 2022, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development will read the budget speech for the financial year 2022-2023. What are the priorities and opportunities in it? To know this and more, please listen to the budget speech financial year 2022-2023 on 14th June 2022 starting at 2 p.m. across all television and radio stations in Uganda. Our budget, our responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, CSBAG, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and National Budget Month Partners.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Ugandan shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Lunchtime News, the weekly roundup edition. We're now taking to the world of business. The chairperson of the National Economy Committee in Parliament this week led members with an inspection of Gulu City roads under construction with a $360 million collective funding for 21 other municipalities and cities from the World Bank. Gulu City has since tarmacked approximately 11.7 kilometers of road network with another 6 kilometers currently being designed ahead of construction. These are the details.
there is a need to intensify scrutiny of Uganda's infrastructure projects, in particular road networks, most upon which the country's huge borrowing is linked.
We have seen the work is moving, but personally, as a chairperson of the committee, this is a loan that we obtained in the financial year 2018-2019, and this project is expected to end by 2022-2023. So we only still have a very small period looking at the time that we have already covered to the conclusion of this project.
Members of Parliament drawn from the National Economic Committee of Parliament are in the northern city of Gulu reviewing the road projects under funding by the World Bank.
So when we come for a meeting of this nature, we are expecting that we shall be able to get advice that will inform now that this second phase is winding up next year. Now, if government, decides, to approach the World Bank for again, the next, maybe, the second use meet, if I may call it. I think these are issues that will be able to inform their lessons we are picking in the field. You see that may inform, the second, the second phase of, the project, the third phase or the second, project.
With the new cities facing a heavy infrastructure deficit and lack of capital financing, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development is seeking $700 million infrastructure credit from the World Bank in order to fund new infrastructure projects. All the same, across, locals say the interventions in Gulu City needs to be expanded beyond the 11.7 kilometers so far covered under the road tarmacking.
But here in Gulu, the drainage system is very okay. I have not yet had those cases of flooding, those cases of Simanyi, some places developing those diseases of diarrhea because of the drainage, poor drainage system. Me, according to my judgment, me, for sure, I give Gulu City 80%.
The Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development, which oversees the $360 million funding, insists that despite the demand for more roads to be built in Gulu City, maintenance of the roads covered so far also remains of concern.
That brings us to the end of our weekly roundup edition of the Lunchtime News. However, we would like to mention that at 3 p.m, UBC TV will be broadcasting live the Stanbic Uganda Cup finals, where Vipers and Bull FC will be facing it on the pitch live in Masindi. Otherwise, stay tuned for more news in our subsequent bulletins later on. My name is Wadulo Arnold, and have yourselves a great afternoon.
Honorable Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, the Minister of State for ICT, announces the death of her son, Ronald Daniel Sebugwao, which occurred today, 11th of June 2022. There will be a vigil on Sunday and Monday evenings at her home in Nalia, Kampala. Funeral service will be on Wednesday at Namirembe Cathedral.